corn ready. Alright, me and Marshall are off on a great shopping adventure, jamming to our bluegrass. We're gonna do a great food vlog for you guys this evening. We're gonna make paella. Say it with me, paella. What am I, Mr. Rogers all of a sudden? But once again, as you can see, put it up real close. 64 degrees. Actually, I think that's a little bit inaccurate. The heat sensor, the temperature sensor for outside is actually under the hood in the Jeep, so it runs 4 to 6 degrees warmer once the Jeep gets up to full temperature if I'm not at highway speed. At highway speed is pretty accurate. Blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying is it's balmy and beautiful. How was that for a close-up? So, anyhoozle, thought we were just going to run to the grocery store. Like I think I told you already, we didn't have plans to do anything this weekend. Duck season's out. And, you know, we're just going to hang and chill. But I wanted to go to the grocery store and realized that I didn't have the right chorizo. The only place in town that has the good dried chorizo. Stop, what are you doing? You can't do that. You're going to make them dizzy. The only store in town that has the good dried chorizo is World Market, so we're on a road trip. So we'll see you. You know, my favorite place, one of my favorite vlogging areas, World Market, always fun stuff. But we're in and out today because we're gonna be veggie homebodies. We got sweet success. Chorizo. I've got chorizo at the house. And it's pork chorizo as well, which is what I want. But it's like the ground chorizo. It's just in like a sausage tube kind of form, whereas this is the hard dried sausage. First time I made the paella, I made it with just this chorizo you can get at the grocery store. And you know, lots of grocery stores around here have it. We have a heavily Latin influenced community, as you can imagine. But when I did it with that, it first of all completely crumbled apart. And there was so much fat and oil in it, I basically ended up throwing most of it out and away. It was too much. So I found this stuff. And this stuff works really good. And we got clams and shrimp and lobster and chicken to go in the paella. So this is one of my favorite dishes that I make. It's delicious, as long as I don't burn the rice. And that's tricky, because you put what's called a socarat. And it's basically a crust made. Oh, we should have got the Jeep. Is that a car wash? I don't know what's going on over there. It's called a socarat. And it's a crust that you make with the rice. You put the rice in and you kind of stir it in, but then you don't move the pan. You don't stir it anymore. You just kind of shimmy the pan, and the rice settles down to the bottom and toasts on the bottom. And you actually serve the paella almost like a slice of pizza. You kind of dig down underneath the rice, and but it's, you know, it's a little touchy. You don't want to burn the rice because that kind of permeates the whole dish. So we'll be food vlogging a little later. It takes a long time to make this, so it should be a nice food vlog. Food vlog. So I started my chorizo. Well, I cut it up, and I got tomatoes, cilantro, garlic, onion, chicken thawing out. And there's not much seasoning to it, actually. A little paprika, some Italian seasoning, salt and pepper on the chicken, and it just kind of dry marinades for as long as you can. And then all the other flavor comes mostly from the chorizo, the sofrito, which is onions, garlic, and cilantro simmered down in the oil, because you do the chorizo, you pull it out, you brown off and crisp up the skin on the chicken, you pull it out, and then you build your sofrito, and then you start adding to it. You add the tomatoes, and then you nestle the chicken down in first, I think, and then you simmer that for a while, and then you put in the rice. It's a huge process. I'll show you as I go along, I guess. But right now I'm waiting on my dang chicken to thaw out. That was dumb. I didn't think about pulling that out before we left. So I've got it in a pot now, and I'm just about every 10 minutes switching the water out, so that should thaw it out with a quickness. So I'm kind of brining it, only I'm not putting anything in the water. So I'm just soaking it. Watch mommy go.
Stop it. You better stop.
She's on the Wii Fit doing the hula hoop. She won't let me vlog that.
No.
Choop, choop. Choop, choop. So there you go. Okay, that's all for now. So here you go. This is from whence the majority of the flavor of this dish is derived. There's very little other seasoning into it. It calls for saffron. I'm going to use turmeric. I can't really taste saffron. It's got a little bit of an earthy, maybe even a floral note to it. But in a dish this big, mostly what it does is just turn it yellow. And that's what turmeric does. And it's got an earthy tone, not really any citrus tone to it. But I am using fresh cilantro. That'll give it a nice floral citrus note. And it calls for short grain rice, but I can't find that. All I can find is medium grain rice. And this is what I've used before. It works perfect. Do I cut this dish in half, do you remember?
I
don't know if I do or not. Because it calls for 4 cups of rice. Sure seems like a lot. We'll see. But it's the biggest pan we've got. This is what I've done it in before. First time I toasted the rice a little too much. It was a little rusty, as Marshall describes it, because it gets a little bit of a char flavor. But the last time I was a little more diligent. It says to kind of shake the pan around as the rice is cooked, gently move the pan around so the rice cooks evenly. And I didn't do that as much last time. I kind of missed that step. No, I did do this last time, and it was much better. A nice, even, toasty flavor to the rice. Real nutty. And just delicious. So, like I said, other than that, there's onion, cilantro, garlic, shrimp. I got fresh clams, like live whole clams, and lobster tails. I know we splurged a little bit. There's a little bit of paprika, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper on the chicken. And that's it, other than the chorizo. There's nothing else in it that flavor-wise.
Who found her Christmas
So,
color?
Marshall found it buried down in the arm of that chair.
Aw, man.
So,
Well, at least we started.
yep. So anywho, I'm gonna get back to wrecking the kitchen. Mommy's gonna keep her wee fit on. Do it, let's see it. So I got the chicken thawed, marinated, paprika, calls for oregano, but we had dried Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. And then I'm going to brown it on all sides in the chorizo oil. This whole dish is you're just constantly building flavor upon flavor upon flavor. And when it's done, it's one of the best things I make. Gumbo's still number 1, but
That's not me.
I'm telling you, no, this is a close second. And now we sizzle. Inside down until it's good and crispy. Flip it, brown it on the other side, then I'll pull it out. Then my sofrito goes in until it's pretty much translucent. And now the continuation of the building of flavors for the ultimate paella. That's the sofrito. It's simply onions, garlic, and cilantro. So I've browned the chicken off on all sides to a lovely golden. Crisped up the skin a little bit. And now we do this for just a couple of minutes, like I say, till the onions go about translucent. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm kind of scraping and scratching with the spoon and digging up all those little tasty bits off the bottom. Those little morsels of caramelized flavor. After this, I add the tomatoes, and then we get a little bit of a cook down until the tomatoes basically caramelize. They really kind of roast in the pan, which really extracts a great amount of flavor. Oh my God, you guys. You have got to get smell-o-vision. Protest to YouTube and the Google community. Tell them you demand smell-o-vision. Talk to the powers that be. I know they can make that shit. I don't see why they couldn't. Put a little box on your TV with certain chemicals that spray out into the air on command according to some cues that are put into a TV show. Of course, it probably caused cancer, like every damn thing else. But, man, missing out. Not on cancer, on the smell of this. Y'all know what I meant. Now for the tomatoes. Should probably get that in a second because I know the fade ins and fade outs are a little screwy. And now, the tomatoes. Just a can of crushed. It calls for whole crushed by hand, but what the hell, dude? Why not just buy, diced or crushed or whatever? Drain them. And then this is going to sit and simmer for probably a good 10 minutes and develop flavor. Ah! All right, that's enough. Got him.
Got Nola.
You all right there, Nola dog? Did you get all excited?
Yeah, she's like, I think after something knows you.
And then you fold in the rice. I've actually cut the rice in half according to the recipe because our pan is just not big enough and I don't think there's enough liquid. But you fold it in and basically stir fry it for just a couple of minutes to make sure everything's good and coated. And then I'll add warm water. And from that point, just kind of, and this is the heinous part of this recipe because of this pan and this stove. You got to listen to that for the next 15 minutes. But you just shake it. You do not stir it anymore. It's not like a risotto where you're constantly stirring and adding liquid. No, this has the liquid in it. And then you're basically kind of shimmying, shaking the rice down to the bottom. Then I'll spare you that because trust me, it's noisy and annoying. So I'm going to add water, warm water, and then after that there'll be no more stirring. It's just kind of shaking back and forth every couple of minutes, and then I start ducking goodies down in there. And I'll show you what the final product is. Well, at least right before it's done cooking. Alrighty, here's the nearly finished product. This is with everything tucked in. Shrimp, chorizo, chicken, clams, lobster. Then here, I'll give you a little taste of the heinous. You got to do that about every 2 or 3 minutes just to make sure the rice doesn't stick to the bottom. And that's going to go for about 15 minutes. And you can already see the clams are starting to open up. And the shrimp and lobster will kind of steam sitting on top. And if it doesn't, I put a lid on it, crank it up, and then it does. So that's the paella. Absolutely delicious. Alrighty, gang.
Paella.
That's the finished product. Chicken, lobster, shrimp, clams, chorizo, onions, cilantro, garlic, tomatoes. And just so you know, that simmer sizzle you see, that's with the heat off. That's with no flame. Smells like you can't eat.
Smells delicious.
Yep. I think this is going to be a good batch. Especially with the lobster. I've never done it with the lobster before, but it was on sale. And Marshall wanted it. Yeah, there's no way I could have put twice as much rice and twice as much liquid in there. It would never fit. So. Oh, Lordy. I'm not even going to show you my plate because I'm not going to take the time out to vlog it. I'm just going to mow it.
Really?
That's what it's going to look like on my plate. Only, hopefully not. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. Are there vegetables in here? Tomatoes, right?
Tomatoes and onions.
Okay.
Yay. Well, check this thing out. I don't know if you can see it very well. As well as I had hoped. Hold on. There we go.
Nice.
Check that out. It's a 3D moose puzzle that Pops and Jenny got Marshall for Christmas. And the directions are like 5 lines. Look at pieces. Look at pictures. Put pieces together. It's it was no easy task, but it turned out really, really cool. Hey, who's that guy? That's something you've probably never seen. We've got quite the lighthouse collection. I don't know if I've gone through that, and that's barely scraping the surface. Anywho, it's gonna live here until we figure out if we're gonna paint it or stain it or what. But that took
Over an hour.
over an hour to put together. But the finished product's really, really cool. So anywho,
It's the night.
I just interjected to say that's it for tonight. Paella vlog for sure. Super duper food vlog. Mommy's going to bed. She got to work in the morning. Me and Marshall are gonna hang out for just a short minute, and then that's it. So today was pretty fun, laid back, whole lot of nothing. Awesome food vlog. Dark vlog again, sorry. I'm always in the dark. Oh, that's not a light. So I'm gonna turn on a light just long enough to say good night. Good night.
Good night.
Say good night.
He's watching TV.
The zombie. So I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.